Hey guys, welcome back to the Bass Garage. Today we're going to be removing and installing front struts on a 2005 Toyota Camry. You know, you can use hand tools or an impact. An impact makes it a lot easier, but I'll kind of show you what we're going to need here. So you're going to need a 22 millimeter socket, deep well socket, a 14 millimeter deep well socket. You're also going to need a 12 millimeter socket and a 22 millimeter wrench. Plus, probably going to need a ratchet and an in-ear impact. But those are the sockets. That's going to be the main stuff that you're going to need. So I'm going to take you over here and show you what we are going to be dealing with. All right, we're back. So these are your three top nuts and studs for your top of the strut. You're going to need the 14 millimeter to remove all three of these. Now down here, you're going to need right here and right up here, you're going to need a 22 millimeter socket and impact. And back here, you're going to need a 22 millimeter wrench. So, and then, just light, right back in here, you have the brake hose, where the brake hose attached, the caliper hose. That's 12 millimeter. You'll have to remove that. I already have the sway bar because I'm doing some other stuff on here. I'm replacing the sway bar links, but right here you would disconnect the sway bar link right here on this where this hole is. But you'll see on the reversal of how that goes. So let's get started. All right, guys, we're back. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to take the 12 millimeter bolt that is holding the ABS wire and the brake hose on. And loosen that up there. All right, so I got that 12 millimeter out of there. Let us remove the caliper hose there, the bracket, and the ABS. Then down here, we have these plastic clip that holds the ABS wire on. It's got a little hole on each side of the strut. We just take that loose. Now, like I said previously, I already removed the sway bar link because I'm replacing them, but that's where you would take it, the sway bar link would go. So now we're going to grab our 22 millimeter socket, deep well, and our 22 millimeter wrench. And put the wrench on the bolt side. All right. One thing you want to make sure is, like, depending on the vehicle, some of these have like a cam bolt, and some of them have like a spine bolt. That's why you want to make sure you put if it's a cammed bolt, you want to put a mark straight up, so when you put the bolt back in, it'll be straight up. On this one, we don't really have to worry about that, because I mean, you have to get an alignment regardless, but like, you at least want to try to get it to where, at least where it was, or close to where it was. All right, so we got both nuts off. I have to, sometimes you can wiggle these to get these bolts out. One bolt out. Two bolts. I always just try to lay them out on the ground or on the cart where the position they came out of. They're the same, but it's just something I like to do. All right, so that's pretty much it for down here. I'll be right back with you, and we'll get the top mount bolts loose. All right, we're back. This particular car has a strut bar. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, got my 14 millimeter, got my half-inch impact. I'm gonna go ahead and take the two off to have the sway bar, or the strut tire, my fault. And on this particular vehicle, there's little spacers underneath. So we don't want to lose those. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and take the other two loose from the other side. And let's see, I can lift the strut bar up out of the way, set it up here, then we can take their spacers here. I set those up out of the way. Definitely don't want to lose those. They're there for a reason. Then two up for this other side. And what you got to be careful though is when you're taking this last one out, you want to make sure you at least have one hand underneath to hold that strut up, because you don't want to drop down and tear the axle boot. So. Right. And then we'll slowly drop that down. All right, so we have the strut out. This one's pretty bad. It's rusted really bad underneath here on the driver, just the passenger side. Driver side, it's leaking, the seal's leaking. So we're gonna go ahead and put some new ones in here. So we'll be right, set this off to the side here. We'll be right back with you. All right, so what you wanna do next is you wanna have your old one out and then have it laying next to your new one. And you always wanna lay them side by side just to make sure everything is correct. They're the same, and these are perfect. So I'm gonna get ready to stick this new one in. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I got the new strut up in place. I got one nut pretty much all the way down. The other two, I'm just gonna take them, just run them down by hand, just temporarily, because I gotta remember we got the strut bar and the spacers, but I can't put that completely back on until I have the other side done. So I'm just gonna do it like this for now, so then we can get the lower section back together. Okay, now we're back. Now we're gonna start working on this lower section here and see what we can do. I'm gonna swing the spindle around. Get it lined up like that. Lift that up into place. Make sure everything here to the ABS. So brake goes line. One bolt started in there. And then, right. Now to figure out how we're gonna get this here, because these are a little tricky on the bottom. I might actually have to start the bottom one first. Got the bottom one in. There we go. Then we get the top one started. Like that. Then we're going to take our nuts, 22 millimeter, get those started on there. Then we're going to take our 22 millimeter wrench and 22 millimeter socket. Impact. We're gonna put a wrench on the bolt side. Put our impact on the nut side. All right. Get that one tightened up. All right, get that one tightened up. Next thing we're gonna do, go ahead and slide this little plastic clip down. And they got little holes in each side of the strut there, strut mount that the clip's into. Our ABS wire, and then our brake hose there, caliper brake hose. And now I get this 12 millimeter started. Sometimes these can be a little tricky, especially when you have two brackets there fighting against you. Yeah. You don't use an impact on this here. You'll bend the bracket and just destroy it all. Just a hand ratchet is enough. I use my electric ratchet to take it loose on the old one. And just snug it just a little bit. You don't want to get too much, you'll start bending that bracket. So we have both bolts here tightened up. We have our brake hose and ABS line bolted down, plastic clip clipped on there. And really, the only thing you would have left to do would be tighten the 3 top nuts, but we'll do that at the very end when we're putting the other side down and putting the strut bar on. So we'll be back here to tighten up the top. All right, guys, so now we're back up top. We're going to go ahead and get ready to put the strut bar back on and tighten these up. Put these spacers back on. I have the other side already done. Slide this back on. Put the nuts on there. All right, we got that side done. So then we'll head over to the driver's side. We'll do the exact same thing, except I already have the spacers underneath. I already did it so I could put the bar on. So I'm gonna finish putting these other 2 nuts on here. Get them started by hand first, so you don't cross thread them. Run them down. All right, so now we have, the struts are now officially installed. So the only thing we have left to do here is to install the new sway bar links. So let's get to that. All right, so we're getting ready to install the sway bar links. Here's one of the old ones. See, this one does not have a grease fitting in it. The new one, I had installed a grease fitting, but I have grease fittings on both ends. So for this one, it's an 18 millimeter to hold it on the back side and an 18 millimeter socket. Now on the old one, you had an Allen on the tip, and then I believe it was a 17 millimeter. Well, those are kind of a pain when if they get rusty or nasty stuff in the threads. You got to kind of clean the threads before you start trying to take it apart. Turn this a little bit. get in there. Let's see what I'm probably going to have to do. I'm actually going to have to remove the grease fittings and then reinstall them once it's installed. At least on the, looks like on the top part here. This is not giving me enough room to get in there. Probably gonna have to see if I can turn this a little bit more to try to help me get in there. There we go. Probably could have turned it all the way and not have to take it out, but it's okay. Working blind. That's what I like to call it. Tell you what, let me see since I turned it. So we can put this on. Still get it in there. You got to make sure that your grease fittings in the correct position so you can get your grease gun fitting on there. Which should be fine. There we go. Trial and error. That's what I like to call it. That started. Grab this impact. You don't want to go crazy on this, especially with using impact. Just slowly snug it up. There we go. Now we gotta get to the bottom. Probably gonna have to get an 18mm ratchet wrench to get in there. These can be challenging sometimes, especially on the bottoms when they're facing in towards the engine or transmission. Try our little stubby ratchet wrench here. Get start up on there far enough. So 18mm on the outside to hold it, and then a short 18mm ratchet wrench to tighten it. There we go. So that is now, the sway bar is now installed. So the only thing I have left to do is pump some grease into that, and then I'll do the other side. So with that being said, you know, that's all right, guys. Well, that pretty much sums up this video of the strut removal and install on a 2005 Toyota Camry on the front, and also the assembly of the front sway bar link. Again, I had already removed it beforehand, so it pretty much gets the idea. It comes apart the same way. Just sometimes it's more challenging coming apart because of rust and dirt, etc. Just clean the threads, spray down with some penetrant, let it sit for a little bit, and then break it loose. But we appreciate each and every one of you for watching, subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. Please, you know, if I did something wrong or think I could do it better or a different way, or you know, the way you do it, let me know. So we're always striving to do better, and everybody should do that. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I hope this video helped somebody. If it did, let me know. And let me know what other type of videos you'd like to see, what other type of repair videos, racing videos, any type of videos. Just let me know. So until next time, keep your hands dirty.